I'm not going to say a single word about the Tennessee Titans record against the Indianapolis Colts because I was a punter, and there's no reason for me to talk about that. With that being said, we did not punt much against the Tennessee Titans, so you probably have no clue who I am to begin.
Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper so hot you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit him right in the chest. It be looking like magic, better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone, eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones. And you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long, pop the clutch, I don't pump the brakes. I know what it takes to gain the muscle, get rugged. These butterfingers be fumbling, squash a scrimmage and rub it in Robitussin. How I give them concussion, they see in double, they rushing and pass the shovel, the dirt and rubble, I bury them under it. Stay in your huddle and get 10 yards back, never turn your back. I'ma pull your flag, I go full contact, out punch, out kick like a shotgun.
Yeah. The boys are back. We're a little bit later than usual, but you know what? We love you anyway. So let's just go ahead and get to it. Welcome back to the HorseShoe Mob podcast, where we're coming to you with everything Colts. And yeah, this is a wild one. This is a wild one because a year ago we were talking about the draft, and right now we're talking about potentially getting into the playoffs. And not only that, but the thing is also there's a shot to go ahead and win that division too. So. Yeah, we're definitely gonna go ahead and get into it. But before we do, let's go ahead and get to the guys we have with us, the senior of all seniors. Not to say that he's old, but just to say when you see him, you gotta call him senior. We have Josh Senior, everybody.
What's good?
All right, and then we have the man, the myth, the ninja, apparently. The person who just lives and dies by the phrase "let a naysayer know." We have with us Austin Cook, everybody.
What's up? I'm Austin.
All right. And then, of course, I'm just Chris Jackson. I'm your friendly neighborhood Chris Jackson, so don't even worry about that. But yeah, man, welcome back. Welcome back. If you're watching, make sure that you are liking, commenting, sharing. Want to make sure that we get to all your comments and all that good stuff because, you know, we love y'all. Without y'all, there is no us. So we appreciate y'all. We want to hear from you. So definitely go ahead and make sure that you're commenting. But you know what? Let's just go ahead and get right into it, right? Make sure you are visiting www.fanbattlesports.com for all your Colts related needs. You'll be able to see us on there, biographies, articles. You'll be able to see past episodes and links to past videos, whether you stream on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast at. We have a link for that. So just make sure that you go to www.fanbattlesports.com and go on ahead and tune in. And you know what? I'd be remiss because you know what? It's New Year. Happy New Year, fellas. How's everybody feeling?
Feel great.
How about you, John? Feeling good? Yeah, feeling like a new year. Ain't none of that new year, new me stuff. We don't care about that. Whatever. We saw you last week. None of that corny. Well, saw you last year. Finger guns. No, we're not doing that. Not doing that BS. Okay. No. All right. So you know what? Let's just go ahead. Even though we're not going to talk about the BS of last year, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Andrew Ogletree suspended indefinitely. It was domestic battery stemming from a domestic situation with his girlfriend, or basically whoever she was to him. Basically, he got himself into a situation, and he is being held on no bond. So
he got bonded out today, I think, for like $500.
He got bonded out today? Okay.
Mm-hmm. All
right. So, I mean, you know, it's just like I said, it's just like I know domestic violence is always a sensitive subject, you know, and we definitely lend our hearts and prayers to anybody who's been a victim of that, because nobody needs to go through that, like, absolutely at all.
I agree.
So now On to better news. Zaire Franklin breaks his personal tackle record from last year. I believe last year he was at 148, I believe.
I think it's
And
165.
165. Okay, I knew I had to been off on that a little bit, but he's at 165 last year. Oh no, 167 last year.
In
And
17
this year
games.
he is at 170 with one game to go. So shout out to Zaire because there's much more to come. And I think he's still leading the league in tackles, which I mean, honestly, barring any major setback, he's probably going to end up leading the league in tackles by the end of the season. So, hey, big shout out to Zaire making big moves. Also, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. So, yeah, we like I said, shout out to Zaire. He's a good one. He's a real one. Big community guy. Definitely love that for him because yeah. And then we also have another milestone. Somebody who's done something that we haven't seen in a very long time. So Michael Pittman Jr. joined Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, and Brandon Stokely. Now, the I'm going to say it's not because he had Peyton Manning throw to him, because he's never had Peyton Manning throw to him, except for maybe in a football camp when he was maybe 11. But he's now joined the company where he is the fifth receiver or tight end or basically receiver of some sort to catch 100 receptions and over 1,000 yards in the same season.
Shout
Which
out to receiver one.
exactly wide receiver one. For anybody who's listening, if you don't understand, you know now Michael Pittman is wide receiver one. If you don't like it, deal with it. Okay? In the words of the immortal Macho Man Randy Savage, you don't have to like it, but accept it because it's that's what it is. And then he still has a whole nother game to go. So yes, big shout out to wide receiver one. Payday's coming. So like I said, if you don't like it, tough. We're here. But without further ado, let's just get into it. The Colts versus Raiders. And I'm gonna leave it to y'all because you know what? It's just like we saw this game. We saw what the words were. A very encouraging thing was that we heard that the away team in the last 5 meetings was 5-0. So, to know that we heard that stat beforehand and we were the home team felt pretty good. I felt pretty good because whenever they mention crazy stats like that, I already know you're trying to tell me something. You're trying to tell me something. But you know what? Fellas, you go ahead and jump into it. What did we see in this game that we thought might have been a problem that ended up actually just being working surprisingly well for us?
Well, first off, Kenny Moore being out, just all of a sudden, Chris Lamons or whatever, he stepped up really well. Like he wasn't perfect, but like he did his job and it didn't hurt us as bad as we could have been hurt by missing Kenny Moore. But all the secondary played really well. I think Juju.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a really good cornerback for a long time for us.
Yes.
And Jalen Jones looked really good as well. So I mean, the secondary really could have took a beating, especially missing their leader in Kenny Moore, but they stepped up and didn't get torched like we could have.
Yep. Absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to say just kind of like expounding on that. So like we know that the secondary has been a big issue. Now, mind you, yeah, I think so. Are we happy about what we saw out of these guys who are potentially going to end up being the future of the secondary? Because I mean, Devontae Adams had 13 receptions for 126 yards. And
Yeah.
I mean, Aiden O'Connell still went and threw for almost 300 yards with 2 TDs. But,
Yeah.
were like, are we more so okay with this performance because this secondary we kind of expected them to struggle, but they actually ended up doing pretty well.
I was really concerned, but I think I'm not gonna say that loud because Devontae gonna get his. But to have one receiver pretty much doing all the bucket of work, it worked well for us because they didn't get Jacoby Myers going off. That tight end, he didn't get going off. So it pretty much one guy that beat us with the weak secondary, a young secondary. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a bad performance on our defense, on our secondary, but it was also sort of good because I mean, had Jacoby Myers went off, it'd be a different story. But Jalen Jones and Juju pretty much shut him out.
Okay. Okay. And now, and I'm glad that you said that because, that kind of leads me into my next question, which was who impressed you the most on defense?
For me, I really do think it was Juju. Um, he like looked like he is gonna be that guy, and like he's made
Yeah.
flashes before, but I don't know. It's just something about that game I really liked what I saw out of him.
Yeah.
I agree, Juju as well because I think when he defended Devontae Adams, I think he only allowed 40 yards, which is good for a
Yeah.
rookie corner that's coming back from a what injury? I forgot what injury he had. He had a
Quad
quad
injury, I
injury.
believe.
I
Yeah.
think he missed like 6 games, 4 games, 5 games, or something like that. Coming back and been I'm not gonna say anchor, but been a serviceable cornerback for the defense.
Hmm.
His presence was really good. I mean, like I said, Devontae got here. Devontae was everywhere on that field. There's no way we could just completely stop him. I mean, just throughout the whole game, but we stopped everybody else. I mean, I don't like the Aiden McConnell having 299 yards. They,
Yeah.
they definitely has to clean up, but I mean, most of his yards came from one player. So um, I'm still impressed. We knew going into the season that those cornerbacks going to give us growing pains, and I think growing pains is not the word anymore. It's still
Yeah.
some issues, but I still got faith in them for as the future goes. I still got faith in them. I think this will be a learning experience to build from, and next year, um, maybe second year into the defense, maybe another defense coordinator. I'm not sure, but there's a building block for them to get better next year.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm gonna third the Juju Brents because I mean 4 receptions for 40 yards with Devontae Adams when he got 9 for 86 everywhere else. I mean that just goes to show that you do have somebody who can play tough, who can play physical. I think we saw something similar when they played against D Hop, where they're basically trying to get D Hop to basically just kind of fake the middle and then run the out to make
Yeah,
sure that it's just like you're getting separation. And even that he defended pretty well. I think Amari Cooper said he was unguardable. He held Amari Cooper to 0 receptions for 0 yards when he was guarding him. Like Juju has had his fair share of number one opportunities, and I think he's proven himself to be that good. And I mean, even with him missing time for him to have the numbers that he has is nothing short of really damn impressive. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm very very happy with his progression. What he's done. Even and you know what I think one person that we're not talking about enough is Nick Cross. I
yeah,
mean, Gus Bradley, for some reason, held Nick Cross out all of last year, damn near all of this year, until Nick Cross pretty much had to play due to injuries, due to Julian Blackman being out. Basically, just like it was a whole bunch of reasons why he couldn't. And then, I mean, Nick Cross against the Steelers, he basically snatched the pick off of George Pickens' hands. And I mean, he was out there, this past week when, and I like Jalen Jones, but he was out there when Jalen Jones was missing on certain coverages. Nick Cross was closing gaps, making sure that he's getting past defenses too. So I mean, I think he's somebody else who's another unsung hero who hasn't been getting that burn. It really kind of feels like what it felt like with Isaiah Rogers last year with Brandon Facetious bum self. So it's I think that it's it Gus Bradley needs to stop playing around and just play these guys because they're obviously good, but he's I can't wait for him to be gone. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait for him to be gone because it's not good. It's not a good product out there. I think we're about like bottom 10, bottom 15 in most categories defensively. So yeah, awful.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, oh man, it's. I mean, even the screen passes that we keep getting burned on. We're not stopping those screen passes. Aiden did a lot of screen passes with that. Was it Zahir White?
Zamir. Yeah.
Zamir,
Zamir White.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, oh my god, he just kept doing it. So like I said, most of his yards from screen passes and Devontae Adams.
Well, yeah. Well, that's and I mean in a cover three scheme, the screens are always going to be dominant. But the problem is that when you have those screens, especially if you set them up where the blocking is going to be inward towards the middle of the field, then that means the only people that are going to be able to cover a running back with a full head of steam is going to be the cornerbacks. And I mean, Juju can somewhat tackle, Kenny Moore can tackle, but the problem is if they get caught up in coverage after him, who's going to run up and make those hits? And I think that's been that issue. And Gus Bradley, he got beat on that with the Bengals. He got beat on that with the Falcons. He kind of got beat with that with the Raiders. And then, they just decided to Raider. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, I'm going to. I think we're talking about like a pretty good youth movement. I like where this team is going, but I just want to say, like, can we really just for a second talk about this past year? Because I mean, last year we're going into this game versus the Texans, where we played Texans for the last game of the season last year, and we're talking about whether or not we're going to end up with the fourth overall pick, third overall pick, or second overall pick. And here we are fighting for a playoff spot. Like, what has been the most impressive about this season regarding this team? And it could be coaching, it could be front office, it can be the team itself. Like, what has been the most, I'm gonna say, delightfully surprising aspect of this team this year?
I mean, obviously, it's nice to have a coach like Shane Steichen. I think that's a huge reason that we had such a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
But like having guys like Michael Pittman step up and show that he is the wide receiver one that he is. Kenny Moore have a bounce back year after having a down year last year. Just different leaders like that stepping up for us and having the coach like Shane Steichen that we have, I think was huge.
Oh yeah. And it's crazy because, like I said, you had 4 years of, 3 years of Michael Pittman Jr. with all these quarterbacks, and I don't think his stats have been better than they were in just this season alone. So I think it's kind of fair to say, and Josh, I'll let you go ahead and just get to what you were talking about, but I think it's just fair to say that Michael Pittman Jr. had it all along. We just weren't able to see it because we didn't have somebody who could really just go ahead and make sure that they bring that out of him. But what about you, Josh? Where are you at in terms of what you believe is just like the biggest surprise this season?
Yeah, I'm just going to expound on what both you guys were saying. The offense was pretty bad last year. It was terrible last year, and that started with the offensive line. Offensive line really played better this year than the past few years. Mike Pittman has done what he done with whoever quarterback he has. He might not have the numbers that he have now, but he has some type of good numbers. He's probably been a better target the past couple years. I think was it last year? I think what year it was. Was it last year where JT had all the yards as a second receiver?
The year before.
The year before last, yeah.
And last year it was just bad. Period. I mean, I don't know who's second. But you see guys like Alan Pierce step up this year. You see guys, you got a drafted third round rookie and Josh Downs. He's doing excellent. Tight ends, you guys see Mallory. He's stepping up when he has a chance. I mean, you see like I said, offensive line having Tony Soprano Jr. Had the same offensive line and built confidence back into those guys. Yeah, we had some injuries across the line. Brady Smith been out. Ryan Kelly been out. We just have some moving parts on the offensive line, but they still playing better than they did the previous years. and it has to be credit to coaching. You know, whether Shane Steichen and the offensive line coach, and having an OC, having a competent OC and Jim Bob Cruder, and have a nice tight end coach and Tom Manning. All those guys have coached these guys up. I mean Reggie Wayne. I'm sorry, I want to discredit what he done. Reggie Wayne. Second year in this scheme and getting everybody to buy into what he wants, and it's working. So it's just the defense side where we still have issues at. But for as the improvements, I mean, I got to go coaching on the offensive side.
Okay.
And it's without having your quarterback have been out since week 5.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm gonna just go ahead and just give the vanilla answer. It's gonna be Shane Steichen. It's gonna be Shane Steichen for me, only for the simple fact that Shane Steichen has taken this team with just a few changes here and there in terms of the players. And I mean, he's turned this team into a contender by making sure that we have a system in place that makes it so that they're able to do everything that they need to do, and that they're maximizing the potential of what he has in front of them. So it's not like they say, oh, we have a system, and then next year we're going to bring in somebody who does this so that we'll be able to compete better. No, this team is competitive, even given their circumstances, given, AR being out, given that Gardner Minshew can play quarterback, but he does have some of those flaws where it's just like, that's a little bit sketchy. Like this is exactly like what we're dealing with when it comes to, this team and what what this team has been built on throughout the season. So, I mean, as far as the actual season goes, it's just like I really just got to give hats off to Steichen. I really got to give hats off to Steichen for coming in and taking this mess and making it, going from mess to miracle, basically. But we got to get into it. We got to talk about it because this is it. This is for all the marvels. This is the sink or swim that we're talking about. Colts versus Texans. So this weekend, the winner of the Saturday night game, which we've been flexed to primetime, which I think everybody was kind of asking for. So we're going to be under the lights Saturday. Basically, like it's the whole world's watching us. And we're going to be at home. So this one is going to be whatever team wins is going to be into the playoffs. Now, Jacksonville and Tennessee play the following day. So whoever wins on Saturday night is automatically in.
Mm-hmm.
If the Jaguars lose on Sunday, the winner of the game on Saturday night wins the division. How much pressure is there when you think about like what that could actually be? Do you think that they're looking at it that way? Or are they looking at it like, listen, we just need to go in there and just beat this team. That's it.
Yeah, that's what they. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Right after the game, Shane Steichen said, we're not even going to take a second to enjoy this win because we have to win next week. So I think it's just like their mind is set on Houston. Who cares what happens in the Jags and Tennessee game? If Tennessee wins and we win the division, that'd be awesome. But we can only control what we can control.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Josh?
I agree. I think they're looking at it is that they just got to beat Houston. They're not looking at, this is a playoff game Saturday. They're looking at we just have to win this game and everything else take care of itself. They're not making it like it's more of a pressure. There's not pressure on them. They just got to win this game. And if they thinking, hey, we got to win this game and be in. They're thinking about I just got to beat Houston and go from there. Because like you said, when beating Houston, we already automatically in the playoffs. Now we just got the next day. We got to wait until see, are we going to be a 4th seed or are we going to just stay in the 7th?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, even to think of where the team came from to even get to this point, I mean, you can't. I guess it's just like in this moment, you can't shrink, right? Because the thing is, the moment you start believing that the moment is bigger than you are, that's when you kind of start giving into the fact that you probably shouldn't be there. And I think this team believes that they should be there because, I mean, like I said, 4 wins last year, one to 9 wins this year, and you're potentially going to be going and just ending this year with double-digit wins after last year. Like, there's no reason in hell why you shouldn't believe that you're able to do it, especially with these pieces, because, I mean, losing a bunch of starters, guys being out during certain games, like, there's a lot of adversity with this team. And this right now basically is, I mean, they're in a position where they just have to take the bull by the horns. No pun intended. I promise. I was not waiting to use that one. It's the first thing that came to
No,
mind.
no, 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 no. We're gonna use that. Stick to that. We're gonna use that.
Take the bull by the horns. There you go. But yeah, but I mean that's what it's up to right now. And it could very, very effortlessly be a chance to go ahead and just put yourself in a prime position. But I mean, it's going to be a tough game because I mean, as we've seen, CJ Stroud is no slouch. But what are going to be the keys to beating this Texans team?
Um, so obviously we got to get pressure on CJ. He's still young and he can still make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So getting pressure on him like we've done all year, getting solid pressure on most quarterbacks most games, and forcing turnovers and not committing turnovers. Gardner Minshew did a great job against the Raiders, not committing turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to do it again this week. Um, JT had a good game. Hopefully, he continues and has another good game. But I think if we can get pressure on CJ Stroud and not let him go off, we'll be fine.
Okay. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, we got to get. I mean, they're lately they've been pretty good at stopping the run. They added some players, and Tark from the Titans. They added him to help with the run stopping, but possibly could get Zach Moss back. We could. I mean, Trey Sermon has been good, and we know what JT can do, and JT have done against the Texans. So establish their run and utilize our weapons. Don't shrink. Like you said, don't shrink in this moment and start using just one player. Use all the weapons. Use Adam Pierce. Use Michael Pittman. Use Josh Downs. And I think we just elevated Winfrey today. So I mean, just use all your weapons. Don't just use one guy and just be stagnant on one part of the offense. Like just don't try to run every play and you can't get any runs. Don't try to, throw 39 times and you're only completing 10. 15. That's not good at all. Try to be more balanced. And on defense, defend those guys. I mean, they're going to be without Tank Dell, who pretty much did us pretty good week 2, but Nico Collins is not a slouch. Uh, Dalton Schultz is not a slouch. And they have some weapons. So I mean, and was like Devin Singletary, he's been pretty good in a run.
Okay.
And we just got to contain those guys throughout that game and make sure that we end up on top, winning. My prediction, I said last night, 20-17. I don't think it's going to be a shootout, but I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a nail biter, and we come out on the end.
Okay. I think it's definitely going to be, I think it all comes down to CJ. Because I mean, that team definitely moves differently when he's in. And I think we've seen what Davis Mills has to offer, in past years and have still been able to do what we need to do against them, except for maybe last year where this team was just in utter shambles. So I think ultimately it will be the same way it was in the first game. It was going to be getting pressure on CJ. I think he's still going to make those throws. But at the same time, if you get pressure on him, he's less likely to just consistently beat you over the top. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I think ultimately it really It's just going to boil down to what can this team do if they go ahead and just get pressure on CJ, and then also what is this team going to do on offense? Because it's just like I said, they got 2 touchdowns with Anthony Richardson before he got hurt.
Right.
And so, we're not going to have that same threat that we had with being able to have that defense spread out. But, like I said, Shane Steichen already faced his team. I'm pretty sure he's game planning. So, I mean, I think, like I said, it's just going to be about making sure that you go ahead and establish pressure on CJ. But then also, you got to go ahead and get the run going. The Texans have been pretty good against the run, but I think as our good friend Remington said, they also haven't faced a running back like CJ recently. I mean, not CJ, like Jonathan Taylor recently. So that's going to be another big portion of it. But with that being said, what do we foresee the score being?
So I think we'll win 27-17.
Okay. All right. And Josh, what about you? Because I know this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a close game. I think we're gonna put Matt Gay to the test to kick a winning field goal and win 20-17.
Okay. All right. And hey, we have a comment here from Jacoyus Whitmill, who is a Texans fan. And he says Texans gonna smack y'all Saturday.
He's a homer, so
you know what, Jacoyus? It's okay. Because when we come on the show next week, love to hear from you.
Yeah, right. It's the first time we hear about this guy all year until they start winning.
Well, listen, we'll love to hear from him. All right. Just going to make sure. So what did you have the score being on this one?
20-17.
2017. All right. You know what? I'm going to be a little bit more progressive with the score. I think I changed my mind since last night when we were on the AFC South fan battle. We pull it out 30-24. And I think this game actually ends up going to overtime.
Oh. It has a sting for it. I mean, these guys, both teams are gonna fight. They both dealt with the same thing for his injuries, not suspensions, but just injuries. Key guys being in and out the lineups, and both coaches coach the guys up to play winning football. So I mean, they're both gonna fight. These coaches have coached against each other previously in the past couple of years, so they know the schemes of each other. So it's gonna be a fight. It's not gonna be easy.
No, it's not. It's not. And I don't foresee it being easy. I think, like I said, the Texans have a very similar story to what we did. And I think the biggest thing is just going to be to make sure that we end up going and doing exactly what we're supposed to do, playing our game and not playing into the Texans' hands. And Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, appreciate you. And like I said, it's just like us playing our game. I think Shane has done a great job of making sure, for the most part, playing our game all year to where we're not playing into the hands of our opponents, much like we saw all of last year. Like we saw Frank Reich just kind of analytically play into the hands of the opponent damn near every single play. So, I think this is going to be different. This is going to be a different kind of look. So, yeah. So we have 21-17 from Austin, 2017 from Josh, and then 30-24 overtime victory from me. So
I said 27-17.
Oh, 27-7. Oh, Jesus. I like it. Spicy. All right. So yes. So we that's actually I'm cool with that. I'm you know what, like I said, I'm more so very, very happy with the progression of this team. Like I said, it's just like this was an observation year. 6 wins was what I guessed. I think you guys guessed kind of similarly. I think we guessed like floor ceiling. But I mean, I don't think Yeah, I don't think anybody guessed that even if Anthony Richardson didn't play that we would be in this position, but here we are. So I'm hey, I'm very very happy with the outcome. But
I
with
think
that
with
being
I think with them playing, I think we wouldn't be in a situation for a Saturday night game to be in the playoffs. I think we probably already clinched the games that we lost, the close games that we lost. He would have been able to help for us in the run game and get the run game going. So I think the games we lost, like Atlanta game, the Bengals game was just we wasn't prepared that game. But other games like the Browns game, uh, when Miles, shit, what's his name?
Garrett.
Miles Garrett would wreck the offensive line. Having AR back there would have helped with that because he can skip out the pocket. As
yeah.
The Atlanta game as well. I mean, still like that. This game here wouldn't even be close. The Raiders game wouldn't even be this close. So it's just having him. These games we wouldn't even be in this position Saturday to be fighting for a playoff spot. I got faith in that. I'm not being a homer. I'm just saying the games that we had, like the Atlanta game, that game would be a lot different had AR been able to escape out of the pocket and get the offense going, get the run game going, stuff like that. I mean, it's just you can see it. You can see it. I mean, and Shane had to build offense around another quarterback. When he had built around AR, it was deadly. So I mean, I got faith in that, and we'll get to see that next year with the healthy quarterback and hopefully 4 years under that scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I think it does change things. But I think also the idea of having AR makes it so that it's going to be easier to get guys that are going to be able to fit into the scheme next year, right? Because you see that you have somebody who can be a dynamic playmaker. You see that you have somebody like a Jonathan Taylor. You see what Michael Pittman Jr. can offer. And I think the biggest thing about it is going to be that you see what Shane Steichen is doing. And I mean, you see certain players, like you see certain players that we talked about in the past that would make sense now because of the state of the team and where they are. I think the biggest thing is going to be that we can 31-30 Texans win by a point. Damn. Okay, that's close. And then Acosta Madrana says, Acosta, that's our boys from the Sick Anvil podcast show. Appreciate you guys always tuning in. Also, happy belated birthday to Big P Pat Dorflin. He was on the show earlier in the year in the summertime. So happy belated birthday to him. He says, I think our new identity will show in this game. Shane is bringing it and not fooling around. Then he said, aggressive defense, consistent play calls will win us the game. Also discipline. And it's absolutely correct. And I think Shane Steichen, because of his approach to accountability, makes it so that when you're watching this team play, that these guys are playing with an increased sense of discipline because of the fact that they know that it don't matter who you are, you're going to have to hear from coach when he gets back to the sideline. And you see how active he is. He isn't going to sit there and just look crazy and then, that's going to be it. He's going to be out there saying, listen, you need to get it together, need to get it straightened out. Like, let's do it. So I mean, like I said, I think these guys, like I said, I think everybody's kind of playing for their lives. There's numerous people playing for their contracts out there. I mean, there's some household names, some names of some big guys who are going to be up for contract. And I mean, this is the chance to really just show out. I mean, guys have shown out throughout the season, but I think this is like the ultimate dress rehearsal for what is that next few years going to look like for me. So I think honestly, this is going to be a very pivotal game. I think this is probably more important than even any playoff games we would potentially be in because of the fact that this is also a division rival. And this is a team that seems to be as hungry as we are. But one thing that I do want to highlight before we go is the fact that if the Titans lose this game, they will have lost all their division games, and they will be 0-6 in division this year. So
really, it's kind of a win-win for us.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, listen. Titans win, Jags are out. Titans lose. I'm completely okay with that.
12 L's.
12 of them things. 12.
After
But you know
going
what?
7-10 last year.
Oh, how the Mayo have fallen. All right. Hey, and then Acosta says, love to be on with y'all soon. Let's make that happen. Hey, listen, listen, all, all, uh, all Colts content creators, welcome. We'll definitely be setting that up because like I said, you guys are family. So we're definitely going to have y'all on very, very soon. So, yes, we could work that out. And then Jacoya said, y'all looking ahead to playoffs for Houston. This is a playoff game. Oh, yeah, this is a playoff game. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, we are very, very happy with where we're at. But let's also be very, very, very clear about the fact that we know what we got. We know who y'all are, and we don't care about the latter. So we just gonna go ahead and basically just going ahead and wrap this up. If y'all got anything else to say, make sure that you are hitting us up on the Horseshoe Mob account on Twitter or the Horseshoe Mob page on Facebook. Even if you just drop in, talk a little trash, we're okay with that. We're okay with that. And we might actually be having a little trash talk going on later on this week with some Texans fans because yeah, we know it's just like, yeah, you step up, we gonna make it happen. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But you know what? In the meantime, guys, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me on X at Cookie Austin 2.
Why are you like this as a person? Why are you the way that you are, Austin?
I don't know.
What about you, Josh?
I see the screen at the bottom has a different name there, so guys can excuse that. But it is now who is Josh Singer, and I know my guys, my brothers ask that all the time. Who is Josh Singer? But you guys who know me for so long, y'all know who Josh Singer is. So follow me on Twitter.
All right, all right. You could find me at CJ Colts fan. Like I said, you can find me on Twitter, find me on Facebook, Chris Bolt Speedman Jackson, all that good stuff. But yeah, so you know what? We're out. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week and potentially see you this Friday. We'll see. If anything, we'll post it. So definitely make sure that you tune in. Hey, go Colts for the shoe and for the new year for 2024. Remember that Sam loves Jalen